won't be able to share it on the screen.
That's okay. I was hoping to have more than this time to do it. But I just got done with work.
Yeah.
I can email it. It's, no, it's, my phone is being my phone.
What?
My phone is delaying me, so I just had to wait. It's loading.
I'll go get it, okay?
I have to send it. It's still, my phone is loading the document.
So,
Hi, John.
No.
Hi, guys.
I haven't opened pages in a while. And
okay.
I have to.
I'll go wait for it.
No, it's just a page. It's a PDF. My phone's just being me. Okay.
Nice bill, Markel.
What's that?
Isn't it there? Oh,
Oh.
gosh.
Hi, Michael.
Do it this way. Okay, so yeah, it's, I can't open the document. It's on here, so it's just. Slightly.
Annalise, is that you? The muser?
No, it's me, Lois.
Oh. Hi, Jim.
Hey, JP.
Who else we got online?
Oh, Jim.
We've got Mark Pass and John Nielsen, Michael Kuchka, and
Well.
yourself. And Annalise is supposed to join us.
Okay,
So waiting on her, and Sam's trying to print something out. Max is helping her.
Perfect. Let's see. Two. Got it. John Nielsen.
Yep, I'm here.
I'm sending you all something in your emails that I printed out, for, discussion for the Gazette article and
Thank you.
community outreach. So it'll be there shortly. You didn't get it? I still think I'm rude for wearing a hat. I've got terrible.
Oh, one page is the second page. Oh, here it is.
Well, yeah. I don't know how it'll print otherwise,
Okay.
but
Yep.
get it in your hands.
Want to make sure I have it.
I sent this to Jim earlier today and he had a couple of updates, so not final. Any- Get started.
Yes, I'll call the meeting to order. I was kind of waiting for Penelise, but she can join in as she is able. And let's everybody do a roll call, starting with Max. Oh, you say your name?
Max is public.
Oh, okay. Max Impel, and third, Lois Carlson,
Sam Dobson.
Jim Peters.
John Nielsen.
Michael Kupta.
Mark Pass.
great, thank you, everybody, for being here. We have public comments. I don't know if there's anything that wants to be, we have no public. Then I would say that let's move on to the minutes to be moved on for approval. And I did catch one small error under discussion topics. C should be tiny home community instead of time home.
Okay. Good catch.
Make a motion to move approval of the minutes with that one edit.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries and the minutes are accepted as amended. Okay, I am going to let you know that Charlie followed up with the group that did the Washburn project. That looks like it's, certainly near its completion. And when they had been met with initially, it was, they were not interested in working on the island at that time. There was a possibility they might be down the road, but apparently they're not down the road far enough that they want to work with us. They're seeking larger projects rather than a smaller one that we would have here. So there is no interest. And it didn't sound like there was a lot of potential for interest, but Charlie did have that conversation with them.
So just to clarify, that was Sinair was the name of that organization.
Right, Sinair, thank you. I know I saw a couple of different spellings and I wasn't exactly sure what the appropriate proper name was, so.
C. Sinair with a C, not like sinner, but Sinair.
Okay. Okay, good.
I'll never forget that note. Thank you, Mark.
Good, good. Now I've done my part for the day.
Yeah.
Okay, development of a Google Docs page. I think everybody received the documents that were on the memory stick that we had. And Dorjean was working on setting up a page. She had set one up and she kind of wanted to have somebody check on it to make sure it works. She said she wasn't real familiar with doing that kind of a setup, so she was going to check with Sam. That's why I'm looking at you.
Okay.
So that should be ready soon, and hopefully people could open the documents that were sent as the attachment.
I was able to open all of the attachments. I've got them opened up on my screen right now in front of me.
Okay, good.
With the documents that we've received, I could set one up. It's just, does it need to be set up through the town? Do you know what I mean? Because I can set it up and include everyone and it's going to be outside of the town.
Well, I think Georgina already has it set up.
Okay.
Is that what I heard?
So
Yeah.
she doesn't need my help, or?
She just set it up and she just wasn't sure if it was correct. And when I talked to her
Oh,
yesterday.
okay.
But if other people have looked at it, then perhaps we're it's all working fine and
Okay.
if everybody's able to open the documents, that's good. Okay, identifying potential local occupants. I think, that's the topic of discussion that we had last month, or actually 2 months ago now. We don't really know who our audience is anymore. And I think I'm anxious to read through Sam's article. And but I think, whatever we can do to identify people who may be interested in having a home, who's looking for a home and who's, if I recall from my notes, it's not a subsidized housing, it's housing purchase or rent. So people have to have financial buy-in power. And so we need to identify who might be in that situation. And then the rental thing, obviously the biggest thing is getting the financing. And I had difficulty connecting with Penelise, and we finally connected 2 days ago. So she was planning to be here tonight, and I thought she would be. So this would be kind of the perfect segue for her to kind of talk about financing opportunities. So,
Yeah, it's just funny. She's not here and she's difficult to get a hold of because she showed interest, but I mean, we can't wait forever.
right. Right.
So,
Yeah, I think there were whatever.
especially if she's difficult to get a hold of, it's going to be difficult going forward
Yeah.
also. So,
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Well, and I mean, she sent me an email this morning and she's said she had some information and she was looking forward to sharing it. So, we need to do that. And obviously, we're at a time in the world where nothing feels real certain and moving forward with different things unless we've really nailed down what we're going to do is difficult.
Sam, that's a really well-written article. I just finished reading it here that you sent to us. Very nicely done.
Yeah, it's kind of falls in line what we're talking about. We had at our last meeting discussed is that article to build some awareness and hopefully put something together for a couple community information sessions to build some community outreach into this. So in this letter that I just sent you, that is the Gazette article, and it does include at the very end, I guess what I would propose. I took information from all of those documents. So give it a read. Let me know if it hits the mark. And we can go from there. I had suggested that we do 2 sessions in June and August. And the first session in June would talk about just the background of the project, where we are, what we've been doing, giving them all of the documents that we've put together. And then the second one being, how do you do this project? How have we come up with what needs to be done to accomplish it? And what are the barriers to that? And I think the idea for me, at least in this, is getting the first one, getting as many year-round residents in the room as we possibly can, and really finding out who those people are that would be utilizing this. And then the second one, focusing more on that fundraising development aspect and really trying to get, the philanthropists and the construction and, the doers in that, in the room. to see what they can contribute, you know, hopefully get us over this hurdle. So any thoughts? I just put it on the table.
Hey, Sam, I just wanted to point out that I'm not sure that your description of the land that the town is letting us use is correct. I thought, if I remember correctly, you said it was on the south side of Big Bay, and I think this is on the north. And also it was adjacent to trails. That was the
I copied this right from the thing. I might have just copied the wrong section, so thank you.
Yeah, I think it's the one across the road from that parcel that I looked at. That's between Murph and the fire hall.
Right, originally we were looking at the land adjacent to the trail.
Yeah, yep. Okay, I'll update that and just pull that from the document.
Okay, otherwise I thought it looked good, and I really like your idea of having these informational meetings with the public. So I think it's just gonna create more knowledge for the people on the island to know what's going on and hopefully get them more involved.
Does that timeline work? June and August?
I
Are
think
those
it's
the dates
good.
we can get?
I'm just curious, I haven't read the article, Sam, but I'm curious if the first one is to be targeted at year-round people, maybe it would be better to try to have it in May before tourist season starts and their time becomes more limited.
I thought about that, but I also want to include year-round residents in it too, because it really is this overview that sets them up to understand the project that we're going to be asking them to support financially. So I want to give those people, the summer people, also an opportunity to be in the room. So I thought if we do it in early June, you know, maybe we have a chance of getting folks in the room. I just worry that we're not going to get a lot of the seasonal folks in that first one, and there's going to be this misunderstanding. They're not going to have that knowledge. We're missing the first one. That makes sense.
I would like to also add and support the dates that are shown on there because it's early in the season. There's not a lot of, it's not at our peak season. And the people that we would hope to get in there would have just recently gone through the issue of trying to find out where they're going to live for the season to work. So it's going to be fresh in their minds. We're going to have, hopefully, if they'll, talk to us, we'll get accurate information that's happening right now.
So I missed it, John. Are you in favor of May or June?
I like your proposal on here that looks
Okay,
like a
okay.
June. Yeah.
Okay. And I think maybe just taking extra caution to when we schedule it. So we do schedule it at a time that will include the people who are working in that early season. So I don't know,
It's hard to find a.
it is hard to find, but, maybe it's a Saturday, or maybe it's a Monday or a Tuesday when a lot of the workers are off. I don't know. That's something we can think of down the road, but, that was my thought from that. And then just for those maybe who haven't read it, the only other things that we talk about, I really tried to pull from the information. So I tried to include, the data, the who is this for? What do the demographics look like? What is the goal of the project? And then kind of the reality of why this is difficult and why it doesn't exist right now. So if everyone's okay with it over the next whatever time of reviewing it, do we have an idea of what Gazette we would want to put this in?
What the date is, you mean, for?
Yeah, the closer to spring, like in April or May, whichever is, I think there's one in April.
Yeah,
And I think there's one around Memorial.
I would shoot for that April one and then the follow-up in Memorial Day.
Lots.
Okay,
Yeah, I would second that. That sounds good.
Yeah, and I think what I would try and do then, and I'll take it upon myself to try and do this, is just make up a 8.5 by 11 single sheet flyer and bring it into the the businesses of the area and ask them to post it in a place where their employees would be able to see it. And then, also send that same sort of message out on the community website, on the Facebook page. Yeah, I think you can get some interest. Mondays, from what I understand in scheduling, is probably a better day than any other day during the season. And if clearly earlier in the day is better than later in the day.
Good. Well, we'll note that as our plan going forward.
Before we move on, Michael, I know you haven't read the letter yet, but there's a bunch of references in there to medium incomes and percentages and stuff. When you get a chance to look at that, will you check and make sure that those stats are right?
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah.
They are probably a few years
Yeah.
Right.
old, but
I pulled the
I'll do what I
information
can.
from the
Okay.
Maxfield research, and the RFQ was where I got the two quotes and the property description.
yeah. So, yeah, the RFQ was last year, so it shouldn't be
Okay.
too far out of date.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I'll
Yeah.
certainly check that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well,
So much to do.
yeah, there's not a lot else that we can talk about. And
So all right, so again, I haven't read the letter, so maybe this is already covered, but Sam, based on what you outlined for, the goal is actually to, get some financing out of people who might have the resources to do that. Is
One of the goals, yeah.
is that kind of what the article points to, that, we've done all the conventional attempts to get financing and to partner with developers, and it's just not going to work for our location and the size of the project. So our only real alternative is to generate this locally. Is that where the column points toward?
Not really. It's how I read it is background information. It kind of brings everybody to the same baseline of understanding. And then at the very end, it talks about what you just laid out, but doesn't specifically play out so much for a request. It's more of, this is where we're at and these are the steps we're looking at. And I don't go into that great of detail. And if you think I should, I can absolutely
Well, yeah, let me
go
read
back to it and make it a little more clear that fundraising is going to be a big aspect of this. Because I don't make it a big, highlight in the article.
Okay.
So,
Again, I'm putting this forth more in the dark, but I think if that's really what we have two immediate goals. One is to refresh or redefine, who the people are that we would be trying to build housing for, and two, find people who can financially or through in-kind donations make that happen. And so I think we ought to kind of pave the way as much as we can in principle. So I'll approach the article with that viewpoint, and I won't pass any judgment or anything until I
can
read
read
it.
you the statement. It's just a really quick line at the end. It just says, our lack of developers makes it difficult to move forward in discussing scope of cost. So we can't be sure other than a ballpark figure what a project like this would cost. As this conundrum persists, we look to ways to move forward. We continue to look for developers and funding, and we continue to brainstorm out of the box ideas that may work for our unique community. And then I go in and start talking about the community outreach, like these two things. So Is that enough? Or, you really want more?
It just sounds like we just may need a sentence or two more. But again, I just throw that out there because that's ultimately what we're trying to achieve. And the more we can pave the way for that, the better chance in theory we have of succeeding.
Got it.
I agree. I believe that anything that we can do to plant some seeds in the minds of people, whether they be people who we believe would be willing to invest or contribute to this project, or local contractors who would be able to donate some in-kind services to help this project move along. I think it's important to be clear that these are things that we're going to need if this is going to happen.
I can add those and I'll send it out again.
Thank you, Sam. Nice work.
Thank you, Sam. So Penalise is not available, and that was, I think, kind of where I was planning to go. I think this is just going to be a short meeting. And
Okay.
unless we have other new business or old business that anybody wants to discuss.
I do have a quick question though. Have we gotten a more or less a sort of a firm number on what it would cost to bring water and sewer into that proposed area and get it ready for any sort of actual real development?
It's going to be a fair amount.
I think that Charlie had some conversations with Arnie about it. And I don't know if Arnie ever came up with a number or not.
I think I remember a number to clear the trees and put in driveways and things like that.
Yep.
But I don't remember if there's ever anything done about what would it take to get the sewer connections to that area that would support 10 small mini homes or whatever the number ends up being. I don't know if I remember hearing any number like that or seeing that. Did I miss it, or has it not been done?
I
don't think it's ever. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
I know that Charlie and Zach had some conversation about the status of the sewer and what the town was planning to do in terms of making a RV pump out available adjacent to this property. But I don't know what the outcome was. And I don't know if the town made a decision about what they were going to do about it either. But if they, depending on where they decide or when they decide to do that, that could significantly affect the cost of us getting sewer into the property.
Yeah, in my hometown here in Bloomer, we're expanding quite rapidly, and one of the things that we have to always look at is the long-term location and elevations of the sanitary sewer system, the storm system, and where pumping stations need to be done, things like that. And there's several engineering firms that have been used here in my locale that they do that quite readily. I think that if it hasn't been done, that maybe we should have at least somebody who's in the know there check on those elevations and see what kind of a lift station is, if it be needed, or can it gravity flow to our existing system, et cetera, et cetera. That's usually ends up being one of the more expensive parts of these improvements and putting in utilities in these areas that we're growing here in my hometown.
Will they want to know more about our project before they are able to give us a good number?
We didn't here in Bloomer.
Okay.
All we needed to know was, just basically how many home sites, they just kind of need a number, a general number, so they can size the pipe and the pump. Do they go with 8-inch? Are they going with 10-inch, 12-inch? What that's all they really need in general. And then they go into the town's records or whoever has the records, and they get the elevations of the nearest connection to the septic sewer system. And then they can make their calculations and designs. And then it's pretty much cut and dried. To put in a sewer, X number of dollars per foot based upon the type of ground that you're working in. That's straightforward.
Yeah, I think Mark is right that that's where it was the original part of the original advantage of this location was to tag team with a new RV disposal station. I do recall that all the geography is taken care of, and it's a gravity feed. There wouldn't be any need for a pumping station.
That's great news.
And I know the sanitary district, has a study that pretty much outlines the entire island and where stations would be needed and where gravity feed would be adequate. And Max, I believe you actually have that in your file cabinet somewhere as well. So I think the pricey element of putting in a pumping station is not anything we'd have to worry about. But
Excellent.
I've not been able to keep track from afar as to what the decision has been made with the sanitary district about moving that RV disposal site or not. So, I mean, it comes down to, do we tie in a sewer connection to an RV site, or do we just pump or, just run it straight into the existing gravity feed under the highway? So, but I don't believe we've ever had that cost. And I thought Charlie he had gotten a price on digging a well, but I could be wrong. Maybe he had made several contacts and really never got that estimate.
I know he was in touch with Moline,
Yeah.
and I don't remember if Moline gave us a number or not.
But that would be the next step, just to get a sense of what it would take to drill a well for. I think we needed to keep it under 10 to avoid DNR involvement, but
There are 10 units.
10 units, yeah. I think anything above that, you need to meet a higher standard for a community well. But if you keep it under 10, you're fine.
Yeah, I think that was just discovered with the Hartzell properties. So we could probably glean a lot of information that was learned through that process.
Did we inquire about the Hartzell properties for this project? Any of that?
I mean, early on, he did not want our project to be part of his development. At various points, he had suggested that he'd be willing to offer contiguous land, I guess is fair to say, at a steep discount. But he's been hard to pin down as to exactly how serious he was or was not. And when we got the town to commit this land, it just seemed to be, this would seem to be a better site for a number of reasons.
I would think just the clearing though, and putting in at least the other properties are somewhat cleared, correct? And have sewer water already?
Not the land he was suggesting he would
Okay.
let us get involved in. But again, his project changes all the time, so it never hurts to stay in touch and see if, but it's farther away and that kind of thing. And there were advantages to the Big Bay Road site.
Max, I remember talking about the RV disposal site with Bremer and Zach, and it was a while ago. And is it possible to get them to give us an update
Sure.
on, because there was something that was holding them back, significantly holding them back. I do
Money.
remember. Well, yeah, and so maybe if we can revisit that, and I really like the idea of putting together a cost sheet of the things that we can kind of put a close number on. Things that you don't need the above ground stuff, we can do all the underground stuff. So, how do we go about as a group putting those numbers together at just a minimum?
Sam, is the sewer and what their town is planning to do with the sewer and the pumping station, is that something that you as a town board member can access?
Yeah, that's why I asked Max to look into it, because it's been a while since they've given us an update, and with this conversation, it would make sense to reach out to them and get an update. I mean, it's been more than 6 months to.
Yeah.
Then, so, and it would allow us to answer this question and start putting together some rough numbers. I think that's a good step, and it at least gives us that ballpark number when we head into this, community outreach, and we're asking people, well, what would their money go towards? We can specifically say this, and this are the first 3 steps that we have to do before we even get above ground.
So will you ask those questions of the board?
I can ask them an update for the RV
Yeah,
site, but I would think it would be upon us to put together the numbers.
I don't understand.
I mean, I think it's good to know. I mean, at that time, the sanitary district was really concerned because of the high strength of the waste coming to them from the RV dump. And they were having a lot of trouble meeting phosphorus and other effluent standards. And that was one of the reasons of planning to move it so it could be connected to the sewer system. So the RV disposals would be more diluted before it got to the treatment site. And then they seem to have kind of backed off that as an urgency. And obviously I have a hard time tracking from afar where that is. But, at that time, there was a lot of discussion with the DNR and getting clean water fund loans, which for our community would have included a lot of principal forgiveness, and designing it to DNR standards. So there was a lot of initial work done that Zach probably has filed away somewhere. But yeah, it's not. I presume there's been no urgency in the last year or so to make that happen. So something must have changed. Either they've done something different with their treatment, or they are taking a different approach. But yeah, it's always good to find out where they are on that, because they're a key player one way or the other of a connecting, whether it's through an RV dump or just connecting to the sewer main, the gravity sewer main.
Can I tell you this? This is actually for real. Here in Bloomer, we had a similar issue where there's a sewer hauler that has a big truck, much bigger than what we've got on the island, and when they would bring in their loads, they were so concentrated that it was bumping up the system's ability to work with it. Well, simple solution is just like exhaust from diesel, things like that. They just diluted it. So all they just said is that, hey, tankers, when you come on in here, we're going to put up this great big 5-inch pipe that has just fresh water, under pressure on it near the disposal area. Turn that on full when you unload your trucks so that it gets diluted as you're unloading it. Simple.
Well, that's what they were doing with the island haulers. Whoever had the contract at the time, they were requiring them to, only pump half a tank out and then dilute it with water. So
Yep. And that's what we're still doing here in Bloomer.
That is the simplest solution, but it doesn't solve the problem. It just ameliorates it for the time being.
Right.
I can talk to Hartsel too. They had to put in a new pump house
Mhm.
for this new development.
Mhm.
I'll get that number for you guys.
Yeah, because I mean, you can get an estimate on how much it costs to hook up 10 units with this capacity of
Right.
living,
Get that.
so.
Yeah, pump house will be $3 million. So we
Yeah.
want to make sure we don't need that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, if there's no other comment, we should set our next meeting.
Second Thursday of the month seems to be working.
So the 12th of February.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll set the next. What's that? The 12th of February works for everybody? And at 5 PM.
Works good for John Nielsen.
Okay, very good. Then I will, does anybody want a motion to adjourn?
We'll make a motion to adjourn.
And
Second.
I'll approve second.
We need a second.
Mark seconded. And so the meeting is adjourned and thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
Thanks
everybody.
all.
Thanks, everyone.
Oops.
John,
Yes.
how are you feeling?
Oh, good, good. This is the really strange part is that this doesn't seem to have any effects or symptoms on